Welcome to you all. I'm just so delighted that you have decided to join me tonight. Well, or today, if you're listening at another time, or if, like Jane in Canada, it is actually daytime rather than evening right now. Today's session is all focusing on really centering and being calm. Although, of course, I never know what's actually going to come up in the session, but that's my intention. My other intention, for those of you who haven't experienced one of these sessions before, is that you will experience at least one benefit from this session. And that will apply whether you're joining me now live or whether you're joining on catch up, either via video or on my podcast. You can find all the links to all of the different ways to connect to this on my website, which is amandaweller.com. Right, so let's begin. Now, perhaps just take a moment and get comfortable. Have a little wriggle around, make sure you got a glass of water if you need it, and just make yourself comfortable and start to focus on your breath and just observe it and watch it, allow it to have its own rhythm, and allow it to gently lengthen and deepen in the way that feels natural to you. Don't force it, just allow it. Okay. Okay, so the first thing is an awareness of the contrast between you and the outside world. And there's consciousness of your emotional responses to the outside world. So we're just going to focus on your responses and focus on the breath and breathing into your reactions, and experience or imagine that you're breathing into those reactions and allowing on the out breath those reactions to flow out of you, down through your body and out. It's allowing yourself space for you, this encouragement of movement at the start of the session. You know, we can have an excess of emotions that no longer serve us. And so it's an allowing the emotional release of these emotions, these reactions. And it's tying in with a consciousness of allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to allow whatever has been going on in your world to release with the breath for the duration of this session. And to consciously say to yourself, I give myself permission to fully be in this session for the next few minutes, the duration of this session. And I allow anything else that has been occupying me to float away for the duration of this session. Now, I'm immediately being drawn to the solar plexus, and there's it's as though there's a sense of resistance at fully letting go and allowing yourself, you allowing yourself time right now. And there was a sort of an awareness of guilt. You know, we're very good at giving time to other people, but not necessarily to ourselves. And we're very good at getting this guilty response going. We're all really good at doing that. So this, again, it's allowing and maybe breathing into the solar plexus area, and just with the intention of breathing out any discomfort around that area. Just a sort of a big but easy breath or two. Don't force it, make it easy on yourself. You know, you can ask yourself, what would love do? And respond to that internally and allow yourself to be in the session. Oh, lovely. That feels better. And my focus is now being taken to your throat chakra, which is located at the base of the throat, of the neck. This is all to do with communication and self-expression and giving. And this is tying in with a permission to quieten the chatter, your internal communication, your internal chatter, and to communicate, but not necessarily with words during the session. Just be aware of yourself on any level that pops up. It need not be accompanied by language necessarily. My attention is moving slightly down the chest, still central chest. Sort of just underneath the collarbone in the center there. And it's another permission. I give myself permission to experience calm. And there's the emotional release of excess fear from the pericardium. And there are two ways of thinking about the pericardium. You've got the layer around the heart, and you have the meridian channel, the energy channel, and they're both They're both to do with heart protection in their own ways. And there's a sense of releasing of excess tension from the pericardium. And it's beginning to be a sense of flow, gentle flow down through the tissue of the body, down your limbs, down the back. And there's now consciousness of grounding coming in, that releasing of the excess positive charge in the body. I just realized I haven't shut my window tonight, so you're experiencing evening bird song in this session as well. So this sense of releasing down through the body is still continuing. And there's a sense, I mean, I'm standing as I'm doing this session, and I have a very clear sense of connection with this, with the soles of my feet, this idea of grounded connection, centered connection, this enabling of the exchange of flow, of the releasing of the excess positive charge in the body, and the ability to take up earth energy. And there's a consciousness of calm and balance and shifting in a calm way, being focused around the hips. Yeah, the hips are, like the shoulders are, an area that can really hold on to tension. And there are muscles deep in under the buttocks, the piriformis muscles, and if I was physically getting to those muscles, you know, they're one of those points in the body where you'd know when I got there. You know, they can hang on to tension. So there's a focus on these muscles, on the releasing of excess tension, and the consequent allowing of the relaxing of the muscles right around the hips, and a steadiness in the legs, but without the excess tension that there was. Okay, so I'm now being drawn to the spine, to the cerebral spinal fluid, which it runs around the spine. It hydrates the spine, the spinal column, the central nervous system, the brain. And we have this focus on flow within the body, on circulation of the lymph and the blood, the nerves. There's consciousness of nerve messaging, both in and out from the brain, and consciousness of appropriate reactions. Okay, we're back to the central chest area. and a focus on it's like a sense of neutrality. There's a sense of energies shifting around the body. Now we have a focus on the right kidney. The kidneys are very much associated with the emotion of fear. And there's around this, there is the emotional release of excess fear. This is excess fear in reaction to what you perceive in the outside world. This is then connecting to the back of the hips, particularly the back of the left hip. And there's a sense of balancing between the left and the right. And again, this sense of gentle releasing down the body. There's an awareness of needing to take one or two nice deeper breaths, consciously deeper breaths here. And that's followed by an awareness of releasing of tension across the back of your shoulders. And across your eyelids. And your cheeks. And your upper arms. And a gentle, further relaxing of the soft tissue in your body. Then we're back to your solar plexus. The kidneys and the adrenal glands. Consciousness of a balanced fight or flight response. You know, we need this response. It keeps you safe, but it also needs to be able to switch off and switch on as appropriate. So there's a consciousness of that appropriate switching on and switching off for you. There's also a technique which is to do with when the brain switches off. And again, that's a survival mechanism. Sometimes it switches off if we're overloaded. And when this technique comes up in a session, it's with a view to allowing it to rebalance so that it switches. It doesn't switch on or switch off too much or too little, so that it's really performing perfectly for you. And this is connecting as well with the consciousness of you taking the time to check in with yourself before reacting. It's that old thing of take a breath, and then it's that kind of idea. Just allowing yourself a moment of pause. Now there's a focus on the breath circulating around the body. It's as though it's coming up from underneath your feet, up the front of your body on the in-breath, and then over your head and down the back of your body with the out-breath. And you've got this idea of the circuit of the breath being brought in, aligned with the breath cycle. And this also is coming in tandem with something called the Wei Qi. Now, the Wei Qi is an energy that you have underneath in and just off the skin, and its job is to protect you. It could be protecting you from physical knocks, or it could be protecting you from other people's emotions. And again, when it comes up in a session, it's to allow it to rebalance so that it's not under or overprotective, but just so that it's the perfect kind of protective depth, if you like, for you. And once it has let something through, there's then a filing sort of internally in you. There's a final filing aspect, the processing aspect, of whether the decision of whether to use and let go, or whether to hang on to, say, somebody else's emotion. And so this, again, this internal processing side is coming up with a view to appropriate processing. And again, we're connecting back to that circular breath around the body. So just connect with that now for another couple of breaths. There's a particular focus now on the consciousness, the importance of connecting to your loving energy, both for yourself and sending it out into the world. It's always important, but there's a consciousness of this now. Of the need for this. And now we've got a sense of calming and grounding. And just spend a moment or two just in this space. And this consciousness of you being able to hook into this peaceful moment by just focusing on your breath at any time and imagining that you're breathing in and out of the center of your chest in and out of your heart field. And you can use this anytime, anywhere. It's that thing of taking a breath and just allowing yourself to connect to yourself. And now there's grounding. Okay. So in your own time, bring yourself back into the room. Wiggle your fingers and toes and open your eyes if you've had them shut. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope it's been helpful for you. If you know anyone else who would find these sessions helpful, please do let them know that they happen on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. UK time. And if you'd like to book a session with me, you can do so through my website. You can contact me through my website, which is amandaweller.com. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. See you next time.